Hi, this is Bridget with Life on Spectrum, and for this episode I'm going to talk about literal thinking. Yes, if you know someone on the spectrum, you know that they are very literal. And I also like to call it black and white. There's no gray or shaded area. Now, believe it or not, after a while, your mind will start to think like theirs, and you'll be able to actually ask them questions that you'll get appropriate answers to. And for instance, I'd like to give you a little story about my son. In about third, fourth grade, my son had an upset stomach one day, so he went to the nurse, and the nurse asked him, "Did your mom make you breakfast this morning?" And his answer was no. So he was able to get peanut butter and crackers. Well, the next day, he did the same thing. He went back to the nurse and said, "Ooh, I have an upset stomach." And she once again asked, "Did your mom make you breakfast?" And he said, no. So he actually got crackers and peanut butter. This went on for 3 or 4 days until finally I received a phone call. And when I received the phone call, I was like, "Well, he eats breakfast every day." And she's like, "Well, I think his stomach is upset because he's not eating." I'm like, "I know he eats breakfast every day. I see him, I'm in the kitchen." And she's like, "Well, why is he saying no?" And I said, "Well, what are you asking him?" And she said to me, "Well, did your mom make me breakfast this morning?" And I started laughing because technically he was not lying. Since my son was in second, third grade, I made him get his own cereal. I made him get his own orange juice. I made him make his own toast. So technically he was not lying. It's that literal black and white thinking. He was not lying, and he still got extra snacks, so of course he was going to continue to do it. So those are the black and white literal thinking and those stories that are actually true to life. Another thing is, as they get older, sometimes that literal thinking can get in their way also. I previously just had a student about a year or two ago that came to me all upset. He thought everybody was actually trying to pump him up and make him feel like he deserves these A's and B's. Because every time he would calculate his scores on his grade book, he kept getting like a C average. And on the grade book it said an A. He didn't understand, because if you did just calculate it up using a calculator, it would be a C. But because grades are weighted and they have different categories, he didn't understand that that would change the scores. For instance, the test would be worth a lot more than a homework assignment. So after I had to point that out to him, he actually calmed down and understood that the difference between the categories and the weights would make a difference with the grade. But that literal thinking, that black and white, making sure they see and they think that whatever they see is real, that can actually cause some problems and some of the meltdowns. So keep that in mind so you can start thinking of different ways of asking questions and also how to teach them. Hopefully that helps with those two stories. And this is Bridget with Life on Spectrum. Thanks for watching that episode. And make sure you come back and join us again for upcoming videos. They'll be uploaded almost on a daily basis. Also, if you really enjoyed us, like us below, or even leave a comment for us to respond back to. And if for all of you that are really involved in the Life on Spectrum, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We appreciate you. We hope that this is worthwhile for you, and we'll see you next time on Life on Spectrum.